Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something you probably see, maybe even use almost every day. Seems simple, right? The humble tablet. But honestly, it's this tiny marvel of pharmaceutical engineering. Ever wonder why some pills work fast and others, well, they take their time? That's not by accident, it's precision design. And it really starts with what's inside. For this deep dive, we're digging into a source called Comprehensive Guide to Tablet Formulations and Manufacturing. It really gives you a look behind the scenes, our mission, to unpack the science, the surprising details behind these pills, from the ingredients right through to how they deliver that medicine, just so. So, get ready. We're going to turn some complex stuff into hopefully fascinating insights. Let's jump in.
Okay, first things first. What is a tablet, technically? It's a solid dose form, right? Contains the medicine.
That's the active drug, yeah, the medicament.
Right, the medicament, with or without other stuff, usually pressed or molded,
Right.
mostly for taking by mouth.
Exactly. And they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, as you know. We've all seen that. But here's the thing that gets me. The active drug itself might be a tiny, tiny amount. So what's all the rest of it?
Ah, that's the crucial part. Most of what's in a tablet, often like 90% or even more, isn't the drug itself. It's what we call excipients.
Excipients. Oh,
And these are just, passive fillers. They are absolutely essential additives. They're chosen very carefully. They do everything from making the tablet possible to manufacture in the first place, to making sure it's stable on the shelf, and even helping your body accept and use the medication properly.
wow, so they're like the hidden helpers doing all the heavy lifting?
Pretty much. And they have strict requirements. They need to be non-toxic, chemically inert, meaning they don't react with the drug stable, and of course, reasonably economical.
Makes sense. So what kinds are there?
There are quite a few categories, each with a specific job. Actually, there's a handy mnemonic to remember the main ones, if you like.
Oh, definitely. Love a good mnemonic.
Okay, think. Don't be dumb. Learn good and cool formulation skills properly.
Okay, got it. Don't be dumb. Learn good and cool formulation skills properly. Let's break that down. D.
First, D for don't stands for diluents. Their main job is just to increase the bulk. Make the tablet a practical size so you can actually handle it. Common ones are things like lactose or starch or microcrystalline cellulose.
Okay, bulking agents. B for B.
B is for binders. These are like the glue. They help the powder particles stick together to form granules. Think starch paste or PVP or gelatin. Really important for making a strong tablet.
Right, holds it all together. The second D in dumb.
That's for disintegrants. These are fascinating. They do the opposite of binders. They help the tablet break apart quickly once it's in your body, usually in your stomach.
Ah, so the drug can actually get out and do its job.
Precisely. Things like starch or special ones like cross-povidone or cross-carmellose sodium, they swell up rapidly in contact with water.
Okay. L from learn.
L is for lubricants. Imagine pressing powder really hard in a metal die. Lubricants reduce the friction when the finished tablet is pushed out or ejected. Magnesium stearate is a very common one.
Prevents sticking during manufacturing. Got it. G in good.
G is for glidants. These improve how well the powder mixture flows. You need consistent flow into the die for uniform tablets. Colloidal silica or talc are often used.
Makes sense. Like making sand flow better. A and
A is for anti-adherence. Similar to lubricants, but specifically stop the powder sticking to the faces of the punches and the die walls during compression. Talc and magnesium stearate pull double duty here sometimes.
Okay, C from cool.
Coloring agents. Seems simple, but important for appearance and crucially for helping patients identify the right medication. Think standard FD&C colors, or even natural ones.
Yeah, you don't want to mix up your pills. F
Oh.
from formulation.
Flavoring agents.
Yeah.
Absolutely vital for things like chewable tablets or ones that dissolve in your mouth. Masks, unpleasant tastes, peppermint oil, fruit flavors, vanilla.
Makes them bearable. S in skills.
Sweeteners. Works with flavors, again, to mask bitterness or unpleasantness. Sucrose, saccharin, aspartame are common examples.
Right. And the last one, P improperly.
P is preservatives. Sometimes needed, especially in formulations that might support microbial growth, to keep the product safe over its shelf life. Things like parabens or sodium benzoate.
Wow. That's a whole team of ingredients working together in there. It really changes how you look at a simple pill, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's a carefully orchestrated system.
So, building on that idea of careful orchestration, here's where I find it gets really interesting. Not all tablets just dump their medicine out at once, right? How do they control the timing?
Exactly. This is where the design gets very sophisticated. Let's talk about prolonged release tablets first, sometimes called sustained release.
All right.
These are specifically engineered to release the drug slowly, consistently over hours. The goal is to maintain a steady concentration of the drug in your bloodstream.
And why is that better?
Well, several reasons. It can mean you take the medicine less often, maybe once a day instead of 3 times. That really helps people stick to their treatment, improves compliance.
Ah, easier to remember.
Definitely. And keeping the drug level steady avoids those peaks and valleys you get with immediate release, which can sometimes mean better effectiveness and fewer side effects.
Makes sense. So how do they actually do that? Make it release slowly.
There are several clever ways, and hey, another mnemonic.
Bring it on.
Okay. Cool mice often increase memories.
Cool mice often increase memories. All right, go.
Cool is for the coating technique. Basically, you put a special coating around the drug core, a polymer like ethyl cellulose maybe, that dissolves very slowly, letting the drug seep out gradually.
Like a time-release capsule shell?
Right.
Okay. Mice.
MICE stands for matrix tablets. Here, the drug is mixed up and embedded within a matrix material, kind of like fruit in a cake mix. This matrix can either be hydrophilic, it loves water, so it swells up and the drug diffuses out slowly, or it can be hydrophobic, water-repelling, like wax, and it erodes slowly, releasing the drug as it wears away.
Like a dissolving sponge versus a slowly crumbling rock. Got it. Often.
Often is for osmotic pump tablets. These are incredibly clever. Imagine a tablet core with a drug, coated by a semi-permeable membrane lets water in, but not drug out. There's a tiny hole, usually laser drilled, in the membrane. When you swallow it, water gets drawn into the tablet by osmosis, creating pressure.
Which then pushes the drug out through the little hole.
Exactly, at a very constant controlled rate. Some high-tech blood pressure meds use this, like nifedipine auras.
That's amazing. Okay, increase.
Increase refers to ion exchange resins. The drug is chemically bound to a special resin. In your digestive tract, ions in your gut fluid swap places with the drug on the resin, releasing it slowly. It's a chemical release mechanism.
Wow. And memories.
Memories is for microencapsulation. Here, tiny particles of the drug itself are individually coated with a release-controlling polymer. So you have thousands of tiny timed release beads within the tablet.
Incredible range of strategies. But, okay, that's slow release. What about the opposite? When you need it to work, like now, for a sudden migraine maybe? Or for someone who can't swallow pills easily?
Great question. That's where fast-dissolving tablets, or FDTs, come in. Also called orodispersible tablets, ODTs.
Right, the ones that melt in your mouth.
Exactly. They're designed to dissolve or disintegrate, usually on the tongue, in a matter of seconds. No water needed.
That sounds perfect for kids or elderly patients.
Absolutely. Or anyone with dysphagia, difficulty swallowing. They are a huge help for compliance and just making medicine accessible for those groups.
So how do they make those work so fast? Different techniques again.
Yep, different approaches. We could use the mnemonic direct molded freeze sublime.
Direct molded freeze sublime. Okay,
Yeah.
direct.
Direct is direct compression. This is often the simplest and cheapest. You mix the drug with special excipients called super disintegrants.
Super disintegrants. Love that name.
Right. They absorb water or saliva incredibly fast and swell dramatically, causing the tablet to just, poof, break apart almost instantly. Crospovidone is a common one.
Okay, molded.
Molded refers to the molding method. Here you make a damp powder mass, press it into molds, and then dry it. This creates a very porous structure, almost like a sugar cube, that wets and dissolves very quickly.
Ah, lots of surface area. Freeze.
Freeze is for freeze drying, also known as lyophilization. This is quite high tech. You dissolve or suspend the drug in excipients and water, freeze the solution, and then remove the ice as vapor under vacuum.
Sublimation, right. Solid to gas.
Exactly. What's left is an extremely porous, lightweight network that dissolves incredibly fast, almost the moment it touches your tongue.
Wow. And some lime.
Sublime stands for the sublimation method in a different context. Here, you mix the drug with volatile ingredients, things that easily turn into gas. You compress the tablet, and then you heat it gently, or put it under vacuum, so those volatile ingredients sublime out of the already formed tablet.
Leaving behind tiny pores.
Precisely. Creates a porous structure that allows water to penetrate very quickly, leading to rapid disintegration.
So it's just fascinating. We've got the ingredients, the controlled release, the fast release, amazing engineering. But how do we actually know these tablets work like they're supposed to and that they're safe every single time?
Now we get to quality control. Evaluation tests. These are absolutely critical. They're not just box ticking. They are the gatekeepers, ensuring every batch of tablets meets the required standards for quality, safety, and effectiveness.
So checking they have the right stuff and do the right thing.
Essentially, yes. Verifying their physical characteristics, their chemical content, and importantly, their performance, how they release the drug. Imagine if a prolonged release tablet just dumped all the drug at once. Could be dangerous.
Yeah, or if a fast-acting one didn't dissolve at all.
Exactly. So these tests are vital. There's a set of standard ones. One another mnemonic.
Always.
Think. A wise thin horse freely drinks dew.
A wise thin horse freely drinks dew. Okay, A.
A is for appearance. Seems basic, but important. Checking the shape, color, size, any odor, the surface finish. They need to be uniform and look right. Consistent branding, too. Makes sense.
Wise.
WISE is the weight variation test. You weigh individual tablets to ensure they're all very close to the target weight. This reflects uniformity of drug content. Pharmacopoeias have strict limits, like maybe IMA 5% variation for larger tablets.
Right, so you get the same dose each time. Thin.
Thin refers to thickness and diameter. Measuring these ensures consistency for packaging, like fitting into blister packs, and also for things like automated counting.
Practical stuff. Horse.
Horse is the hardness test, sometimes called crushing strength. It measures how much force it takes to break the tablet.
Why does that matter?
It needs to be hard enough to withstand handling, packaging, transport without crumbling.
But not so hard that it won't break apart inside you.
Exactly. It's a balance. There are standard testers like Monsanto or Pfizer testers, and typical ranges maybe 4 to 10 kilograms per square centimeter.
Okay. Freely.
Freely is for the friability test. This measures the tablet's resistance to chipping and abrasion. They tumble a sample of tablets in a rotating drum for a set time and measure the weight loss.
Like simulating rough handling?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Usually the weight loss must be less than 1%. You don't want pills turning to dust in the bottle.
We've all seen that happen sometimes. Drinks.
Drinks is for the disintegration test. This measures how long it takes for the tablet to break apart into smaller pieces when placed in a liquid medium that simulates body fluids.
And there are set times for that.
Oh yes, defined by the pharmacopoeias. For standard uncoated tablets, it's often less than 15 minutes. Coated tablets might have different times.
Okay, crucial for release.
Yeah.
And finally, dew.
Dew is for the dissolution test. This is arguably one of the most important performance tests. It measures the rate and extent at which the active drug dissolves from the tablet into a liquid medium over time.
So, simulating how it would become available for absorption in the body.
Precisely. It's a critical predictor of how well the drug will be absorbed and work. There are very specific requirements, like, say, not less than 80% of the drug must dissolve in 45 minutes, defined in official monographs.
That is incredibly thorough. It really gives you confidence knowing all those checks are happening for the medicines you rely on.
It's a huge part of ensuring pharmaceutical quality and patient safety. The standards are rigorous for good reason.
But, even with all that careful planning and testing, I assume things can still go wrong during the actual making of the tablets, like uh-oh moments on the factory floor.
Oh, absolutely. Manufacturing tablets at high speed is complex. Manufacturing defects can definitely occur. These are undesirable issues that can compromise the quality, the look, the strength, or how the tablet performs.
What kind of things go wrong?
There's a whole list. Another quick mnemonic helps keep track. Cool lines, crack chips, stick, pick, make double.
Okay, cool lions crack chips, stick, pick, make double. Sounds like a very destructive zoo.
Huh. It covers the main ones. Capping, lamination, cracking, chipping, sticking, picking, modeling, and double impression.
Capping and lamination sound particularly bad. I read they involve the tablet actually breaking apart.
Yes, there's significant mechanical failures. Let's take capping first. That's when the top or bottom crown, like the curved cap of the tablet, separates either partially or completely from the main body.
Like the lid coming off a biscuit barrel?
Kind of, yeah. There's a clean break. Why does it happen? Several reasons, and we could use Airy Fast Fine Binders Dry to remember them.
Okay, airy fast fine binders dry.
Airy is air entrapment in the powder during compression. Fast is high compression speed, not allowing air to escape. Fine is an excess of fine particles in the powder mix. Binders relates to improper type or amount of binder, leading to poor cohesion, and dry means the granules are too dry, making them brittle.
And the fix involves addressing those causes.
Exactly. Maybe slowing the machine, adjusting the moisture, reformulating the binder, using tapered dyes to help air escape.
Got it. And lamination, you said it's similar.
Lamination is similar, but it's separation into 2 or more distinct horizontal layers, anywhere within the tablet. Think like layers peeling off a flaky pastry.
Ah, okay. Different kind of split. causes?
Often similar root causes to capping air entrapment is a big one. Also, rapid decompression, releasing the pressure too quickly after compaction. Overly dry granules again, or incorrect binder. Remedies include slowing down the decompression phase, adjusting granulation, maybe changing lubrication, or reducing the compression force.
Wow, so delicate. A tiny bit too much speed or too little moisture, and the whole thing can literally fall apart.
It's a precise balance. These high-speed machines are incredible, but the formulations need to be robust.
So that's the core tablet. But lots of tablets aren't plain white, are they? They have that smooth, often colorful outer layer. Let's talk coatings.
Right, coatings are really important. The most common modern technique is film coating.
Film coating.
This involves applying a very thin, uniform layer of a polymer-based solution or suspension onto the surface of the tablet core. It dries to form a continuous film.
And why do that? Just for looks.
Looks are part of it makes them elegant, easier to identify, but also functional. It can mask unpleasant tastes or odors, protect the drug from light or moisture, make the tablet easier to swallow,
Uh-huh.
and it can even be used for controlling drug release, like we discussed with enteric or sustained release coatings.
So how's it done? Spray painting pills?
Sort of, but much more controlled. You prepare the coating liquid, then spray it onto tablets as they tumble in a rotating pan or a fluid bed system. Warm air flows through simultaneously to dry the coating as it's applied. The key materials, think, please put color smoothly.
Please put color smoothly. Okay.
Please is for the polymers, the film formers, like HPMC or ethyl cellulose. Put is for plasticizers, like PEG or glycerin, which make the film flexible and prevent cracking. Color is for colorants, obviously titanium dioxide for white, iron oxides for colors. And smoothly is for the solvents, the liquid carrier, which is often just water or maybe alcohol.
Sounds efficient. What are the advantages over older methods?
Big advantages. The coating is very thin, so minimal weight gain. It's uniform and conforms to the core shape, even logos. The process is generally faster, uses less energy, and is more adaptable for functional coatings like controlled release. Better mechanical strength, too.
So what was the older method?
The traditional method is sugar coating. It's a much longer, multi-step process that builds up a thick, smooth, rounded coating, primarily made of sugar.
Like coating an M&M.
Exactly that kind of process.
Yeah.
The main goals were masking taste, protecting the drug, and improving appearance, giving that classic, smooth, shiny pill look.
More complex, you said?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Many steps. We can use see some sweet candy, please, bro, for this one.
See some sweet candy, please, bro.
All right. C is sealing. Coating the core first with a waterproof layer, like shellac, to prevent moisture getting in during later steps. Some is subcoating. Applying layers of syrup and dusting powders to build up the size and round off the edges. Sweet is smoothing or syruping. Applying multiple thin layers of syrup to fill imperfections and create a smooth base. Candy is coloring. Applying layers of syrup that contain the desired colorants. Please is polishing. Tumbling the coated tablets with waxes like beeswax or carnival wax in a polishing pan to get that high gloss finish. And bro is optional printing branding with logos or codes.
Wow, that sounds way more laborious than film coating.
It is. Takes longer, adds significant weight, requires skilled operators, and isn't really suitable for those functional controlled release coatings. Film coating has largely replaced it for most products.
Now, you mentioned functional coatings. One special type is enteric coating, right?
Yeah.
What's the specific job of that one?
Ah, yes, enteric coating is really clever and important. It's a type of film coating designed specifically to resist the acidic environment of the stomach.
So it doesn't dissolve there.
Correct. It stays intact in the stomach and only starts to dissolve when it reaches the higher pH, the more alkaline environment of the small intestine.
Why would you want that?
3 main reasons. Captured by protect drug, protect stomach, delay release.
Protect drug, protect stomach, delay release.
Okay.
Right.
First, it protects acid-sensitive drugs. Some drugs, like erythromycin or proton pump inhibitors, get destroyed by stomach acid. The coating gets them through safely. Second, it protects the stomach lining from drugs that can cause irritation or ulcers, like aspirin or other NSAIDs. Releasing them later avoids that direct contact.
Makes sense.
And third, it delays drug release. Sometimes you want the drug to act specifically in the intestine, or maybe it's better absorbed there. Enteric coating targets the release. Polymers like CAP, HPMCP, PVAP are used. They have that pH-sensitive property.
Really smart. Okay, we've covered ingredients, release types, quality, defects, coatings. Is there a fundamental process step we should touch on? Maybe how you get the powder ready before pressing?
Absolutely. A really core process for many tablets is wet granulation.
Wet granulation.
It's probably the most common method used to prepare powder mixtures before they go into the tablet press. The goal is to turn fine powders into larger, denser granules.
Why do that? Why not just press the powder?
Several reasons. Granulation improves the powder's flow properties. Fine powders often flow poorly, like flour. It increases the bulk density. It improves compressibility, making it easier to form a strong tablet. And very importantly, it ensures uniformity of the drug distribution, especially if the active drug is only a small percentage of the mix. Prevents segregation.
Ah, okay. Stops the ingredients separating out. So how does wet granulation work? What are the steps?
Think we play with spoons daily so light.
We play with spoons daily solely.
Like
Got
it. We is weighing and mixing, carefully measuring and blending the active drug and the main dry excipients like diluents and disintegrants. Play is preparation of binder solution, dissolving the binder, the glue, in a solvent, usually water or alcohol. With is wet massing, adding the binder solution slowly to the powder mix while mixing until you get a damp, cohesive mass, kind of like dough consistency. Spoons is screening of the wet mass, forcing this wet mass through a coarse screen or mill to break it down into wet granules of a reasonably uniform size. Daily is drying of the granules, spreading the wet granules out and drying them, usually in an oven or a fluid bed dryer, to remove the solvent down to a specific low moisture level.
Right.
So is screening of the dry granules, passing the dry granules through another screen to break up any clumps and achieve the final desired particle size distribution. And light is lubrication and blending. Finally, adding the lubricant and glidant to the dry granules and blending gently to coat the granules, ensuring smooth flow and ejection during the next step, which is
Tablet compression.
exactly. So wet granulation prepares the material perfectly for that final step.
Fascinating. So much precision needed at every stage. Okay, finally, let's look ahead a bit. Are there even more advanced tablet designs out there pushing the boundaries?
Oh, definitely. Innovation is ongoing. One interesting area is bilayered or multi-layered tablets.
Like different layers stacked in one pill?
Precisely. Two or sometimes even more distinct layers compressed together into a single tablet. Each layer can contain different things.
Why would you do that? What are the advantages?
Quite a few potential benefits. Think, save sequential pills, control brand.
Save sequential pills, control brand. Okay.
First, you can separate incompatible drugs. If two drugs react with each other, putting them in separate layers keeps them stable within the same tablet. Second, sequential drug release. You could have one layer designed for immediate release and another layer for sustained release. Get a quick onset, then prolonged action.
Ah, best of both worlds.
Exactly. Third, improve patient compliance. Combining two different medications that a patient needs to take into one bilayer tablet reduces their pill burden. Fewer pills to remember. Fourth, fine-tuned controlled release. You can design very specific release profiles for each layer independently. And fifth, potentially better appearance or brand identity with visually distinct layers.
Sounds great. Any downsides?
Yes, there are challenges. Manufacturing is more complex, naturally. You need specialized bilayer tablet presses, which are more expensive. There's a risk of the layers not sticking together properly, layer separation. Quality control is also more challenging, ensuring each layer has the right amount of drug and the properties are correct. And once made, there's less dose flexibility compared to taking two separate tablets. It's a trade-off for the convenience and potential therapeutic benefits.
It really is incredible, isn't it? We started with what seems like such a simple object, the tablet, and we've uncovered this hidden world of, well, intricate design, from the sheer number of helper ingredients, the excipients, to the clever ways they control release slow or fast, the rigorous quality checks, managing manufacturing flaws, the different coating technologies, even stacking layers.
It's a fantastic example of pharmaceutical science and engineering. When you connect it all, you really see how much thought, how much precise work goes into optimizing every single dose of medicine. It's all focused on making it work effectively and safely for you, the patient.
So here's a thought to leave you with. The next time you hold a tablet, maybe pause for just a second. Think about that microscopic world inside the specific job of each ingredient, the journey it took through manufacturing, the ingenious design ensuring it delivers its benefit just right. What new appreciation might you have? And maybe look around. What other simple things in your daily life are hiding equally complex, equally fascinating stories of science and engineering? We'll let you ponder that until our next deep dive.